Hi, Cozy Sisters.
I like that.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to another episode of She Means Well.
She means real well.
She dares. It's been a bit.
Oh, my word. I know. And
Deja vu.
I know. Yeah.
It has. Bailey went to Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm back.
Little beachy girl. Your content was so cute.
It was so much fun with my mom.
Yeah.
And it was just fun because we've never had a trip like that. And there's a lot of
good girly time.
Good quality time. Lots of laughs.
Yeah.
A couple tears.
Oh.
It was good.
And Jordan got you a camera.
Oh, yeah. Jordan got me a new little point and shoot camera, digital, for my birthday.
Perfect timing.
I know. He knew I was like, I really want one before Hawaii. And
oh, nice.
Yeah. So
well, I missed you.
I missed you too.
I haven't seen you since you did my hair.
I know. I'm still taking it in because it has been a couple weeks since I've seen you. And it's funny when you are a hairstylist and you make a big change, or you probably feel this way about if you like put like a new tooth, like you have to
veneer
match someone something.
Yeah.
And when you just see them in the wild, it's like, is it as good as I remember it being? Like 100%. You almost don't want to see him, but you do.
Yes.
Like, can I see you alone in a room when no one else can see you?
Because it can either like really humble you.
Yes.
And like I'm styling it now. And so you're like, well, does my hair look good when like they're styling their own hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling being dark?
I love it. I love it. So when I went to go see Bailey, I told her like I'm fully committing, getting away from being so blonde.
Which I did not. I knew you wanted to be more lived in.
Yeah.
Your inspo pictures weren't
this dark.
No.
They weren't this dark. And but I'm so happy with how dark, because after we were just talking about it, she was like, okay, well, these still have like blonde in them. I'm like, honestly, Bailey, let's just send it. Like, let's make them darker, because my extensions were a bit lighter.
Yeah.
So you're like, so it's easy. Like I can color them darker. That's easy.
Yeah.
It's lightening them. That's a little bit harder. I absolutely love it. I feel like me again.
I feel like you are giving like Abigail.
Yeah.
Like just who, I don't know, like you have the best, like your little girl, your hair when you were little is the perfect sandy, not quite blonde, but not brown.
Right.
Like it's just right in the middle.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's
closer to this than it is.
Oh yeah.
What I had.
And it's funny because Abby came in and she's like, dude, I don't know if it's like the salon lighting is humbling, which it is. There's something about like staring yourself dead in the mirror, the angle, the cape. It's just, you feel wretched. And she's like,
me up.
Dude, I did my makeup this morning and I feel like it's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know that is weird. And then we're at the shampoo bowl and I'm like toning and I'm like, your skin is glowing. You literally look like you got a spray tan.
And I hadn't seen my hair yet.
Yeah. Just having the depth and it just like, I feel like I
felt like my makeup was put back on.
Yeah.
After you did my hair.
And I just feel like sometimes people want to have like, not saying this was you, but sometimes people want to have like the blondest hair in the room, or I want to be brighter. I want to be brighter than I used to be. And after a while, it's like people start to compliment your hair, which is great. But then when you have hair that compliments you, people are like, you look so pretty. They compliment you or your eyes, or you just look good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope this doesn't come across like conceited or anything, but I have been getting so many compliments on my skin, my eyes, my eyebrows.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird. The whole low contrasting hair, makeup, your skin tone. It's so true. I haven't done that yet, the filter, but I'd be curious to do it. I love it.
Yay.
Thank you for transforming me.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Last part that I want to talk about hair real quick. Not to get too deep, but I feel like honestly having blonde hair, I was trying to like fit into like what society views as beautiful, like tan and blonde and long hair. As much as like it's beautiful and I love having blonde hair, honestly, I feel just like more me, like more, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is funny because it's like, okay, it's not that deep, but it is. And I feel like even just God bless Hailey Bieber for like making the plunge for us all. Like, I feel like that was the start of people being like, whoa, her skin, she looks like
alive.
She looks so good. She looks alive. She looks good blonde too. But like, I just think where the trends are right now, I love them so much because it makes everyone, if you want to feel like you got to glow up, like have your natural and like you still have highlights. Like it's like not to be all flat and dark, but like the tiniest little bit of lightness. And it's like, go figure, your God-given color makes you shine.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, you're crazy behind that chair. I've had so many people say like, dang, like maybe I should go see Bailey. Like maybe I should go dark.
That's
you
sweet.
did such a good job. And you did Mikey's hair darker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Tis the season. Yes. And Erin's. We just took her a little darker. Yeah.
Looks great.
It's fun. Thank you.
Well, you guys, last episode that was released, Bailey had kind of dove into the season of life that she's in right now. You know, what do things look like after her and Jordan have gone their separate ways, living wise. That always sounds so bad when I say that. But just living wise. Yeah. They're still together and doing well. And so I kind of wanted to give you guys an update of where I'm at since moving away from living with Bailey and Jordan. Because I didn't talk too much about it. I just kind of give Bailey the mic. Also, disclaimer, the reason the last 2 episodes did not have video, you guys, Bailey and I...
Dumb and Dumber over here.
Yeah. That was our fault. We wanted to try this new settings on the camera.
We're so dumb. I just, like, what the most embarrassing part was that we hit record and we're like, wow.
Dude.
It's never been better.
Like, they're not ready for this quality.
So crispy.
And I went to go edit it and we look like pixels.
I don't
Squares.
Get it. Abby called me like a laugh crying. She's like, dude.
Yeah. I said it's not even an option to use the video. Okay, anyway. So a couple weeks ago, yes, I'm still learning how to play the guitar. And so I was just sitting in my room and I was getting a little bit frustrated. I'm living at my parents'. I was getting a little frustrated because I feel like I have been practicing the guitar pretty consistently the last couple of months and I just don't like see a whole lot of progress. And you know, I'm teaching myself. I was taking lessons, but now I'm just like teaching myself and watching YouTube videos and using the guitar tabs app, whatever. But I feel like I'm so determined to learn songs that I want to play. And of course, like I'm not trying to learn some really hard song. Like I make sure that they're beginner friendly or whatever, but it's still really hard for me. And I'm getting so frustrated because I've been working so hard and not seeing the progress that I thought that I could be at. And I feel like I heard the Lord speak to me or he gave me this impression. So I'm trying to learn like, just like these different chords and I'm having a hard time going from chord to chord. Without understanding like the theory of music. Mm-hmm. And of course, I think you need to have a little bit of both for sure when you're learning how to play a new instrument. But when you learn theory, you learn how the chords sync together and there's an order. You know, you play a G to a C. You would never play an E minor to a D.
Listen to her.
Because they just don't go together.
Okay.
And that might have been wrong. But I don't know. Something like that. But there's an order in the way that these chords are supposed to be played. And it really gave me an impression of that's kind of the season of life that I'm in right now. There's steps that the Lord is needing me to take or has ordered for me. And there's a sequence in which I take these steps. I'm not where I want to be right now. I wish I didn't live in my parents' house. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of things going on around me right now that I wish were a little bit different. But just having that understanding of like, I am exactly where I need to be right now. Mm-hmm. And God forbid me step into a new season, a new chapter, a new job, a new living situation, a new everything, whatever, without being ready to take that responsibility on. Mm-hmm. Or walk into something that I'm not ready for. And I feel like there was a time the last couple of weeks where I had to let go of I'm not where I want to be. I think it's good to acknowledge that feeling and feel that feeling of, yes, I'm not where I need to be and be sad about it. Sure. But there's a time to mourn that. And then there's a time to move on and realize, but I'm exactly where I need to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do with the things that the Lord has given me right now in this time, in this season around me, then can set me up for success come the next season.
Yeah.
Right?
Like being just present and aware of where you're at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being that I'm in this season, I've been reading 1st and 2nd Samuel a lot lately, and talks a whole lot about David's story of how it nearly took, I think, like 20 years for him to become king over Judah. Or after he got the anointing from the Lord, it took like 20 more years, something like that. But David had to be a shepherd in order for him to become a king. There's things that you need to learn at the bottom of the totem pole before you can be the person that the Lord has called you to be.
Yeah.
And I think in the past, I get so stuck on, I'm not where I want to be. I'm sad. Like, Lord, I thought you said da. Yes, like when has his promises never been true or never happened? They always will.
Yeah.
But in his timing and not in mine. And I'm going to look back and be like, oh, thank God it didn't happen November, whatever day it is.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have been ready. I wouldn't have been prepared. There wouldn't have been those people around me. Who knows?
There's so many like dominoes around each
exactly
big thing.
Yeah. I'm reading this book right now. It's called Full Surrender. And just like, what does that look like? And am I fully submitting every single area of my life to the Lord that will allow him to do what he wants to do inside of me in this time?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, Lord, is there something I'm doing wrong? Like, is there a reason why you're not giving me these things? What am I doing wrong? And it's not that I'm doing anything wrong. I think he just really wants me to take advantage of this quiet place that he's put me in.
Yeah.
Being my parents' house. I'll share something a little bit more personal with you guys, but I would say ever since I went through my breakup where, my ex was with my best friend, that was the last girl relationship that I really had, other than, of course, you.
Yeah.
And
that one's free.
Yeah. Yeah. That one's free. You're stuck with me. But that I like really we spent a lot of time together, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, I have a few girlfriends I'm just not super tight with.
Yeah.
But I feel I've been praying for girlfriends to come alongside of me, especially women that could lead me spiritually. But not just that, like someone that I can laugh with, someone that I can be weird with and talk about my period with and just be real and laugh together and but still have that spiritual like aspect to it too. Someone that I know is praying for me, and you're all of those things.
Yeah.
But it's so important to have community around you. Because I know when I fell on my face, who did I have to turn to that knew me and knew what I was going through, and that was praying for me. Of course, I had my family, but I didn't have that community. So I've spent the last good 6 years, 5 years praying for that community. And I just don't feel like I have it. And I feel where I'm living right now, it does feel so isolating. I don't feel like opportunity has presented itself for me to have community. My church has given me opportunity in ways like small groups and, maybe doing things here or there in the weekend. It just so happens like all of the small groups that would be for me, I'm not able to go to because of my work schedule or because of recording. So it's like, and this is a question that I'm asking God right now. I know he doesn't want us to be isolated, but I also know like there's a time where he does want us to be still. There's a time where he does want us to be quiet. And I feel like more now than ever, I'm spending so much more time in the word and really getting to know like who he says that I am.
Yeah.
And just getting to know him better.
Yeah.
More than I ever have before. So is it the Lord isn't bringing me that community right now because I'm going to be called, obviously I'm not going to be living at my parents' place forever. Oh, dear Lord, please. I mean, let your will be done. But is it because, maybe he has plans of moving me? And is it because he wants me to be quiet right now? He wants me to be still and only focus on my relationship with him and the ones that he's gifted me with. So yeah, that's just something that I've been asking him. I haven't heard anything on that, but it's hard for me, someone that does deal with depression. I would honestly say it's more seasonal depression. The last couple of years, that's what it's turned into. It's really hard, like living up there. I'm going to be honest. It has its pros.
Cause it's like, for people who don't know Abby well enough to know where it is, it's like not in a city, not in a suburb. It's like out on the outskirts of
In the
a tiny
boonies.
suburb. Yeah.
And it's so peaceful and the perfect place to spend time in the Word, honestly. But it's just far from everything. It's far from my church.
Yeah.
The only place it's close to is work.
Yeah.
It's far from my church. It's far from Bailey. It's far from Connor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I live in my car right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it is for a season, and I'm happy to be here because I wouldn't want to be there without being here.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It totally does.
Yeah.
I think too, it's like neat when, it reminds me of Vivian, our friend, and her friend. And I remember her sharing, like, before they moved from out of state to here, her journaling and praying for community and praying for things. And then her sharing on Instagram, like, specific journal entries. And just like we were talking about earlier today about, like, when God answers prayers and you're in the midst of it and you're like, it almost slaps you upside the head that you're like, whoa, I prayed for this. Like, sometimes it's like you don't walk into a room and you're like, this is the answered prayer. It's like when you're in the midst of it, you're like, or after it's happened, it's like, oh my gosh, I do have people around me. So I think it's neat that you're doing what is best for your soul right now and diving into who God says that you are, because he is preparing you for something. And I don't know what that is and what that looks like, but you are stewarding the time obediently.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. And I heard the Lord speak to me when I first moved into my parents' place and was just like, you are exactly where you need to be.
Yeah.
Like, I know you don't want to be here, but this is where I need you to be right now. Going back to what I was saying of like living up in the boonies, it's really isolating. And I think it's just not very helpful with like my mental health, to be honest.
Yeah.
My parents' place is pretty small. Of course, like I have my own privacy and everything, and my parents are great. There's just not a whole lot of room.
Other than like, if you're not in your room, you're with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel bad. Like I don't want to be a little hermit in my room. But then, when you're sad, you don't really want to be around people. So that's sometimes what happens. I feel like I need to have these checks, and I literally will look in the mirror and just be like, start talking, like stop being a little hermit, get out of your bubble and like go bless people. I think you shared that on your episode. Like I've noticed too, just like blessing people at work or like my patients, or I feel like I'm receiving so much from those people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my little update.
I feel like that's more relatable than anything, honestly. Like, I think there's a lot of people listening where it's like, no matter where you are in your walk with the Lord, you just, when it ain't working.
Yeah.
Like when life feels like, everyone seems like they have fun plans on the weekends. It seems like everyone has all these people around them. And like, I think that that's a really hard side of social media, because the reality is behind all of that is a lot of the same things we all walk through.
Yeah.
And I am guilty of it too, where it's like, I don't know, I like to curate. I just think it's fun to create content. But then it's also like, I want people to know, like when I was in Hawaii and I post that video of me on the beach and like, I'm trying to like be cute, taking my shoes off on the beach. I put my purse on and the strap breaks and like, whatever. It's funny and lighthearted, but it's like, there's so many people I follow on social media where it's like, I bet they never fight with their significant other.
Yeah.
I bet they don't struggle with finances. I bet they don't struggle working out. Like all of these things that are like, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they literally do. And I think it's more relatable than not, but we aren't talking about it because you're like, well, who am I just going to broadcast that to unless you're a podcast? Like,
I honestly, it's funny that you brought up social media. I have really like not been on social media like I have in the past. Like I don't even have like the want or interest anymore. And honestly, not to over spiritualize it, but maybe that's the Lord. Like you don't need that right now. Like just focus on me. And I don't want to over spiritualize it, but it feels pretty spiritual to me.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
Yeah. And I feel like there's some seasons where it's like, for whatever reason, it's just like, it's not drawing me like it does. And then other times it's like I heard someone say once, like you want to create more than you consume. And there's definitely times where I find myself like, I'm not in the mood to create and I find myself consuming and that's when I feel really down.
Yeah.
And so I think that's super healthy to be like, it's not really calling me. So instead of just doom scrolling, like,
And honestly too, like, I just think this, like when I am feeling depressed, going on social media does not help at all. My mom, she reminded me of this the other night. She was just telling me how proud she was of me and like how far I had come. Because I think when you get down, you can forget of the person that you used to be. And I'm realizing like the closer I get with the Lord, the more I realize how far I actually was. But my mom was reminding me I had moved out of my apartment after I went through that breakup and I moved in with my parents for a little bit. And I was in dental school and I had like a bed and a dresser in my room at my parents' place. And my mom walked in my room. She said she remembers me sitting on the floor, crisscross applesauce, carving my like teeth out of soap, just like weeping. And like she said, I remember your tears were like all over your instruments. And my ex had moved in next door neighbors with my parents.
Jeez. Oh my gosh, I kind of forgot about that.
I was scared of my safety.
The audacity.
And so like I had to drive past, him every single day. He would like take his dog out and
run over to your yard.
Run over to my parents' yard. Just weird stuff. But anyway, I was obviously not well. I had just gone through the worst thing ever. And I was in school. I moved in with my parents. I was so broken. But my mom reminding me of that, I'm like, wow, I really have came so far. Yeah. And that's a testimony in itself of like, God did it then, he'll do it again.
Yeah.
And I am going to share when that happens. Yeah. You guys will hear it. It will happen.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, this is just an exciting time. I was talking with my sister and Kyle the other day about revival. And I was like, I just feel like the Lord is stirring in people differently. It's just different. And having conversations like this that are just like, even though we choose to follow the Lord, and even in like my episode, I'm like, I don't want to come off like if all sunshine and rainbows when you say yes and you make a change that's like, okay, I'm going to like bring something into the light that I've been hiding or just walking out in obedience where I haven't. I think it's so encouraging for people who are having this stirring within them too, that it's like, yeah, but I don't have the kind of faith like they have. And like, am I a part of like this exciting, but it's like, God is stirring something in you. Maybe I think I'm just very excited right now. And I think like continuing to have these kinds of conversations of just like, I know God's going to bring me things I've prayed for and they're not there yet, but I'm choosing to follow after him. I'm choosing to chase him because there's been times in our lives, both of us where we're not where we want to be and we choose to run the other way.
Yeah.
And there's zero fruit that comes out of that.
Yeah.
Other than testimony, like God always brings beauty from ashes. But like, I just am really excited. And like, whatever that this revival that I can feel in my bones is happening. People are hungry to know the Lord.
Yeah.
And like, God is maybe separating you in some ways to prepare you for like, yes, you want to have other girlfriends that challenge you and lead you, but like God also is preparing you to lead other people.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
And I know he's going to use you, and the things that he's like pouring into you and sowing into you now, it's like you have come so far from the girl crying, carving,
Mhm.
and it's so cool. And it's all for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I received that.
Yeah, you should. So recently, Jordan and I went to this leadership conference over in Spokane, and it was really good because they were talking about a lot of like, how do you basically have a healthy church? You not only grow it deep in like the teaching and what you share, but also wide because you want to grow. But then not only that, and how do you grow a strong church? So it was like deep, wide, and strong, whatever. It was great. And it just makes you realize how, like, this is kind of connected to the whole revival thing. This pastor was sharing, like, people are coming to the church, and we as Christians get so weird with our language, with our lingo, with how we are. Like,
Giving people words
yeah, and trying to, not even that, because I feel like people want that. He's like, people come and we try to, we forget what it's like to be someone who doesn't know the Lord and who's curious about it.
Yeah.
And
sometimes even with our podcast, I'll be like, okay, I need to remember not everybody understands or knows what I'm talking about.
And just like how I don't know, we can just make things weird.
Yeah.
And so anyway, all of this reminds me, I have to share with you, and I've been holding this in because I wanted to tell you on the podcast.
Let it out.
I had one of my most embarrassing moments at this conference. So this guy gets on stage and he's like closing prayer, and he's sharing like, oh yeah, I am who I am today because, someone was sent by the Lord to like save my parents. Like they were about to commit suicide, and someone pulled over and like stepped out of the car, prayed over them. Like it was just one of those like crazy stories. And he's like, yeah, so I wouldn't be here today. I don't remember if he was alive or not because his sister was with the parents. So I don't know if he wasn't alive yet or what. So he's sharing about that. And after service, well, then they kind of had this like closing time and like asked if people wanted prayer. And like I raised my hand. So this gal comes over and prays for me, and my hair's kind of like hanging. And at one point I like tucked it by my ear because I kind of wanted to see who was praying for me. So then afterwards I could be like, say thank you. Because then the session kind of closed. And so I start chatting with the gal next to me, and she had been sitting next to that guy, and he had just shared a story about his parents. I don't know where the audacity or confidence came from. And I asked this woman if she was his mom. She goes, oh yeah, no, that's my husband. We pastor a church together. I wanted to die. I literally wanted to die. And she was so sweet. She just like moved right along. But I'm like, my heart's beating fast now thinking about it. And I'm like, why would I have assumed she needs like an updated haircut or something? Like it wasn't, I don't know. That sounds rude to even say.
Poor thing.
Why did I say that? And it was like he had just been sharing about his parents and they were sitting together. I literally went to the bathroom and I told Vivian, I just had to pray that the Lord would delete that from my brain because I can't hear anything anyone else is saying. I'm just replaying it over.
Did you sit next to her the rest of the...
Well, she was like in a different section, but like close to the one I was sitting in.
She could see you.
Yeah, and I almost was like, should I go back up? And I'm like, no, I'll just make it worse. I was so embarrassed. No, that's my husband.
That is bad. Bad girl. Bad girl.
I know. And it's like, why would you just assume?
That's not like you.
No. Why'd I say that?
Choo-choo.
Are you his mom?
Maybe you're just like nervous and wanted to connect.
Are you his mother?
And she was like, no.
No, that's my husband. I'm sorry if you see this because they pastor in Washington. I'm so sorry.
Are they like in their 40s?
I can't even go there.
You're not the person to ask.
No.
You poor thing.
Probably like late 30s, early 40s. I don't know, but it just came out. And then I'm like, dang, she looks good for age, if so. And it just spilled out of me.
I'm
My hand's sweating. We gotta
I
end
know.
it before I embarrass myself again.
Let me embarrass myself with you.
Okay.
I suffered this week.
Oh.
Not once, but twice. I will be honest. I should be doing maybe a little bit more laundry.
Oh. Me too.
So twice this week I suffered in an
More dirty underwear.
No.
Turn them around.
No. Inside out. No. I suffered in two, probably underwear from like 2012, just lace.
Finger goes through them.
Finger goes through them, Bailey.
They
Twice.
hurt. They hurt. I hate those underwear.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a PSA.
Give me some baby rash cream.
This is a PSA for all of us to throw away our ratty lace underwear that are like the bottom of the barrel laundry day.
I had to grab for them twice. I threw them away. I suffered all day long.
We all have those underwear though.
Yeah.
That's why I have so many underwear because that's the only outside force that can make me do laundry.
Yeah.
Is to not have undies.
Yeah. I know. Well, should.
But it's like, well, if I have none.
And it's like, then, oh, well, I can just wear these on my period because I don't care about them.
Yes.
But no.
Even on your period, you're like, ugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I would prefer to be comfortable.
I literally can think of a pair, multiple, like 2 or 3 of black underwear. And it's like the lace, the hole on like the butt cheek is like this big. Because it's like
where it meets the band.
Literally your fingers gone through it or laundry.
Or Rufus got a hold of it.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note,
see you later.
Guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.